screaming. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. To be precise. すーちゃん、私たちの音楽、そうコンセプトを説明してください。
私たちは可愛いかけるメタルっていうちょっとどこにもないようなものを届けてるアイドルです。
Yeah, so yeah, ours is like a kawaii and metal fusion, and it's like a unique kind of blend that you can't find anywhere else.
And also part of what we're trying to do with this group is kind of take the awesome things we love about Japan and kind of bring them to the world. Because it's very difficult to access a lot of the Japanese pop culture stuff if you can't read and write Japanese. And then even if you can, it's still quite difficult, to be honest, even in Japan. There's a lot of kind of, gatekeeping and kind of community, kind of you're not in the club vibes a lot of the time. So we're trying to give everyone access who potentially doesn't have access otherwise. And so that's part of what attracted you to the group, right?
Oh yeah, I wanted to, because I was living abroad for entire my childhood.
The entirety of your childhood?
Yeah, until my graduation, until I graduated high school. And I came back to Japan starting university, and I wanted something to do with delivering Japanese culture to over the world. And this group has a concept of that, and it attracted me. Yeah. And the lyrics itself is about Japan, Japanese culture. If you listen to it carefully, it's hard to hear what he's saying.
It's not!
If you go onto the Spotify or Apple Music, there's a lyrics saying about Japanese culture. Yeah.
I have very good enunciation. I went to drama school.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, wait. So I'm just going to lead in with that. Where did you go to drama school?
Oh, I went to drama school in the Flinders University of South Australia Drama Centre. That's where. I'm sure you probably don't know where that is.
I know where South Australia.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. That's good of you. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Beyond that, the finer details, no, I don't, but I have friends that do.
Okay, fair enough. South Australia, the capital city is called Adelaide. That's where I'm from. We have a drama school called the Drama Centre. That's where I went.
I'm kind of curious, what attracted you to going to Japan, and what were sort of maybe some of the cultural differences between Australia and Japan? Because it had to have been a bit of a shock.
Yeah. I'll give you the abbreviated Ladybeard history in a nutshell as fast as I can. Finished acting school, moved from Adelaide to Melbourne where I had my agent. There was no work in Australia because Australia had just signed a free trade deal, so we didn't produce our own stuff anymore. I was in Melbourne also training with an Australian who'd spent 9 years on the Jackie Chan stunt team. He told me go to Hong Kong because you're a minority there, so it's easier to get work because you have no competition. I went to Hong Kong. I've done a lot of work as an actor and a stuntman. Things were great. The 2008 financial crisis came, wiped out everything I built. I said, what am I going to do now? And I realized I could solve all my problems by becoming a cross-dressing pro wrestler and heavy metal singer, then moving to Japan and becoming famous.
Very simple.
Yeah, it's quite concise. It's quite concise. It's a 30-second elevator pitch. That's my plan for when I meet Richard Branson. Sir Richard Branson, hey, you heard it here first. I don't know what I'm pitching to you, but that's what happened.
The next hit movie.
Babybeard,
the story.
That's right, exactly.
So, I personally have seen a bunch of, a fair amount of content on other people's YouTube channels that you have been a part of.
Oh, bless you, thank you.
What inspired some of those, the collaborations?
Dear me. More often than not, someone with a YouTuber majig contacts me or contacts us and says, would you like to be on our YouTuber majig? And we say yes or no, as our opinions may vary. Specifically, Trash Taste, if you saw me on Trash Taste, yeah. I met Joey at a convention in Houston in 2016, and so then, how did that come to be? I think the three of them had just gotten together and just started doing the podcast. And I think I messaged Joey asking if he wanted to go to the batting center one day. And he was like, yeah, we can go batting. By the way, you want to be on my podcast? I'm like, all right. And so we went and did the podcast. I think Looking at my manager for confirmation. I think. Joey and I were in conversation about going to the batting center. I'm sorry?
Referring to the Trash Taste podcast, because I remember when you were on that, it was 2021. Was when
You were 21?
No, it was 2021 when you were
Oh,
on
I say. I was going to say. Are you sure you were 21?
But that was one of my introductions to you, and you were able to announce the formation of Babybeard.
Yes,
during
that's
that
exactly
show.
right. I was. That's exactly
And
right.
I remember you talking about that you had your pre-production meeting and got yelled at Denny's for being too loud.
Yes!
Does that still happen?
Yes! Every day of my life. Every day. You can see the logic behind my decision to become a heavy metal singer, can't you? It's generally yelled at for being too noisy in most situations. Heavy metal vocaling seems like an appropriate place for that natural setup, doesn't it? Happy days. Now that kind of thing happens all the time, especially in Japan. There's a lot of "you're too noisy" in Japan, in general. There's a lot of "you're too" insert thingamajig here in Japan. Or "you're not enough" X, Y, Z. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of "you've done something wrong." All I know is whatever happened, it's my fault. That's all I know most days.
I was going to say, I mean, to get Freudian for a second, do you think that the Goldilocks persona is part of the thing? Like, too big, too small, just right?
The Goldilocks persona?
Well, I mean, you know, you look Goldilocks adjacent.
Oh, well. Thank you. I also look 3 bears adjacent, which is excellent dynamic. I dare say. Let's wait for the translation to end.
Sorry, this is hard because
You're telling me!
because it's like metaphors, and I don't know how to translate like Goldilocks into Japanese.
Of course. How do you translate Goldilocks instead of? Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh look, listen. Not only am I Goldilocks adjacent, I'm also 3 bears adjacent, 1, 2, 3 of them, meaning that I can fit into a bed made for Papa Bear, or the bed made for Baby Bear, or Mama Bear, or the bed made for Mama Bear, or the bed made for Baby Bear, and all of them fit just right. This is the most ridiculous answer to your question possible.
That's what we're here for.
I'm not sure if I even answered the question or not. I just said a bunch of words. Just listen to Babybeard, that's what you should do. Oh, just a minute. He's explaining the entire story.
そういう風な意見がありますかって聞いて。
その韓国の曲、グンセマリーゴは初めですよ。その感じです。熊野さんには家に住んでる。そしてゴリロクちゃんが来て。そう。パパのいろいろは大きすぎ、ママのいろいろはちっちゃすぎ、赤ちゃんのはぴったりですね。I'm trying to explain Goldilocks, but I can't remember why we're talking about Goldilocks. But thank you for admiring my hair. My friend?
Coming from South Australia to Japan, what was the biggest culture shock?
Oh, you asked about that too, didn't you?
文化の違いは何か、オーストラリアと日本。
I am mangling these interviews today. I'm so sorry. This is the worst interview day of my life. I apologize. Wow, culture shocks in Japan. Oh my goodness. Where do we begin? Well, there's... here's the biggest one, I think. In Japan, things don't get explained to you. You're meant to see that you're doing something different, and then what they call kugi-oimasu. You're meant to read the room and figure out that you're doing something weird and stop doing that. And so that's one of the biggest challenges. No one's going to pull you aside and be like, "Oi, when you take your shoes, don't throw them at your dad." You know, like no one's going to tell you. You just have to figure it out. So.
Sounds like being married.
I'm married to Japan. The old ball and chain around my ankle. But here's the other thing as well. Japan is full of systems. They love systems. They've got their own way of doing everything. And it doesn't matter how you feel about the system. It doesn't matter if you think you can get things done more efficiently or more productively. Be quiet and do the system. Because you just doing the same thing that everyone else is doing it, the same way it's always been done, that's more important than getting a result.
But it could be a good part. Yeah, you know.
But this is the thing, if everyone does it, there's something quite beautiful about it.
Yeah.
If everyone follows the rules and follows the systems, then the wheels will turn. This is why it's so upsetting if someone doesn't follow the rules, because now you've thrown a spanner into the cogs and they don't turn anymore, right? But no one explains the systems. So you need to just go, mess things up, and figure it out. Because she grew up overseas, all over the place, you had like a culture shock going back into Japan too, didn't you? Even though you're a Japanese person.
Yeah, for example, when I first went to university, I looked so different. I didn't have any bands, and then I was wearing like tank top with shorts, and then everyone was like, I couldn't make any friends, but I had to figure out by myself, like, oh, why can I not make friends in Japan? And then next day, I cut my bangs, and I wore dress like other Japanese, and then I finally made friends. So I was like, oh, this is simple, but we have to like figure out by ourselves. They don't tell us anything, and the appearance, and we all have to be kind of like same. So you cannot be unique. That's a disadvantage of Japanese culture. But again, like we said, because we're doing everything in one direction, it looks beautiful sometimes. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, just because, and at least from friends of mine that have visited Japan, they say that there's almost like a compartmentalization between sort of like the work life where everything is very structured, but then the entertainment is very bombastic, and especially to Americans, we're like, whoa, everything is, it seems very avant-garde, very futuristic, very freeing, like we'd never get away with this in America. So what do you make of that, the sort of like the you know, maybe a sort of more sort of structured work life, but like in the entertainment world, it's really, really creative.
But it's all set up, like it's all
きっちりしてるんだけど、エンタメは
決められてるじゃん。
アメリカからしてももうめちゃくちゃなんかクレイジーみたいな
Everything's been decided
文化だからこういう
So
なんでこういうこんなに違いがあるのか、エンターテインメントと普通の活動。
Samara was saying everything gets decided in advance. So even when you see entertainment, those insane Japanese game shows and whatnot, when you know everything's been decided in advance. So whilst it seems insane, yeah, like it might be from our perspective, however, they're still following the rules in that context, and everyone's agreed to the rule set, and that will include things like these people don't know what's going to happen, and they just got to take it as it comes. So for instance, those comedians on the Japanese game shows, if they lose a competition and some guy comes out and like, you know, smacks them with a pole or something, that's part of being a comedian in Japan. Like that's what the gig is. You get tortured with surprise tortures and punishments and whatnot, and that's what you've signed up for. So they understand in the context, that's the rules, and they're playing by the rules. If they get upset about it, they're breaking the rules, right?
It's all set up. Like prank also. I mean, I think the television is same all over the world, but it's all set up, and we're following the system.
What does Suzu think? Suzuの意見は？まあ日本で皆さんはすごく一生懸命で働いて、でも仕事の後、皆さんのエンターテインメントと遊びの時はすごくなんかルール全然ないの感じね。まあなんか意見ありますか？なんか仕事でルールはやばいですから仕事の後ルール全然欲しくないの感じかどうと思いますか？
私はそのなんだろう、それもすべてシステムの範囲内で爆発してるだけで、システムは結局あるよねって思ってる、私はね。
仕事に対してってこと？
仕事じゃなくてプライベートの遊びとかさ、 エンターテインメントとかに関してもすごいアメリカの人たちは日本はすごいアメリカ人尊敬するみたいな言ってるけど面白いみたいな。でもそれも結構システム作られてる
見えてないとこで
いやいやいやそうと思う。鈴もそう。
Suzume agrees. Suzume agrees what I say. But even, do you see how even us objectifying the concept and objectifying the processes is already weird from a Japanese standpoint? They're just like, but that's what everyone does, you know? That's what human life is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like, do you guys consider yourself to be like following it within a mold, even if it is a niche mold, or do you just consider that the group is breaking a mold in some way?
Well, this is something we've been asking questions about all weekend, actually.
そういうふうにそういう活動をやってるか、それとも型にはまってない、なんか全然完全に違うふうにやってる気分。
こうなんかうちらの
そう、どうぞ。
型にはまってなく見せて型にはまってるんだよね。そうだよね。
So even though on the surface it looks like it's unique, like breaking a mold, maybe in fact they might actually be fitting the mold by like trying to like break the mold.
なんか日本はもうそれが普通って感じ。全員がなんか型にはまってやっぱりしっかりなってるそういう芸能界みたいな。
Yeah, so like even in the entertainment industry, like Babybeard and Larry and Susan mentioned earlier, even though like from Western perspectives, or like American perspectives, it seems like, oh my God, it's so crazy. In fact, it's actually like set in schedule. Like it's like very strict.
Yeah, we're not here to talk bad about Japan, but that's what it is. Yeah.
It's a strange thing, isn't it? Because it sounds like a criticism, but it's just we're just telling you what it is. It's just a cultural difference.
It's just a reality.
So, back to your question about cultural difference. All of that coming from not that to all of that, and again, no one tells you what's going on. The only way you can learn is by making mistakes, offending people, ruining opportunities, and then maybe years later, someone will sit you down who has sympathy for your position and will say, well, back then, 5 years ago, when this happened, in the process, it's your job to do the following, but you didn't. You did something weird, so that's how you messed it up. With the Japanese TV, until my manager Shiori, so I was with a different management company my first half of my time in Japan. Then I changed. When Shiori started managing me, she sat me down and she explained Japanese TV to me. And she's like, in Japanese TV, everyone has a specific role. It's like, if you imagine a show like Conan O'Brien or something like that, imagine he has 3 guests on the couch. There'd be like handsome man, beautiful woman, and then weirdo comedy relief, you know? So everyone has a specific role, and then if you expand that, then on top of that, maybe university professor, and then, I'm not sure, 80-year-old woman with an opinion about knitting or something, you know? Like everyone has a particular role. So she always explained to me, your role is this role. So you're there to do this in interaction with everybody else. And I'm like, oh, because there's no way you would know until it gets explained to you, right? So, but then also you have to, well, we went through all this yesterday as well, didn't we? There's so many things that you need to know based on context, such as everyone else you're working with. Well, they have their joke, their punchline, their gag is this. And so when they start setting it up, everyone else knows they're setting it up. So you need to play ball with that. But if you don't know what their gag is, how can you play ball with them setting up their gag? You know what I'm saying? So until someone explains this to you, how would you ever know this? How would you know all these comedians and their individual gags and how they interact with everybody else? How would you ever know until someone sits you down and explains it to you? But here's the problem. No one sits you down and explains it to you, so this
変な人たちっていうスロットをやってるからっていう。
Can you see how if I had started this career, cross-dressing, bearded, foreign pro wrestler and heavy metal singer, if I'd started that in Australia, I would have just been it would have worked the same way.
No.
But once I'm in Japan, now you're this crazy foreigner, and so now it works the same way, you know? So, but then similarly, if it were me and a pair of Aussie girls doing this, it would be like, what the hell's going on here? Me and a pair of Japanese girls, everyone goes, ah, well, they're Japanese. The whole thing makes sense, you know?
And getting on to the career of Babybeard, what was the thought process of coming up with the song Pianizer?
Ah, Pianizer!
Love the song.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. It's very kind. Pianizer の話説明してください。
ピエナイザーは日本のピエンっていうちょっと若者の間で流行った言葉があって、それのピエンを使ってくよくよしててもいられないみたいな、明日は明日の風が吹くっていうハッピーななんていうのかな、エネルギーをよく良い方向に変える歌になってます。
Okay, so in Japan, there's actually like a slang called "pien." I think it's like a kind of like a sad emoji, if I remember. But the song, it's supposed to like take that like kind of sad energy and then like make it like uplifting. So it's like it's almost like you're looking forward to the next day, kind of like just like upbeat energy. That's what they wanted to make with the song.
I'll elaborate further. Pien is that emoji with the big eyes that are about to cry. That's called pien in Japanese. So what happened was a few years ago when we released the song, pien had started being a word, like that's the name of the emoji, but the kids just started saying pien at a moment when there'd been some kind of low-level misfortune, such as, if you listen to the lyrics of the song, like you just hung out in the laundry and then it starts to rain. Ah, pien. You know, it's like, it's no massive drama, but it's low-level misfortune. Ah, it's a pien. It's a trend. It's a trend. The kids moved on. Now we seem like old-ass people using pien. It was pien was for low-level misfortune, and then you would upgrade to what? Paon? Paon wa taihen no yatsu ne? Paon. And then yabai taihen no yatsu wa nan toyu paon?
プエンとかも入ったの。
Puen?
So we should change the lyrics
Paon
every
Puen.
year.
We're gonna have to. All right, we're gonna have to do a sequel to it. PN has been updated now to Puen or something allegedly. So that's the Asia song. It's about these things happening, but not tomorrow because tomorrow is a new day. So you can smile and be optimistic.
Yep.
Friends.
I am curious, even sort of looping back to the, like the whole concept of, you're a three-dimensional person, but you almost have to have like a 2D persona that people can understand. It's like, oh, it's Babybeard, they're weird or over the top. What advice would you give to people who, again, because a lot of people go to Anime Boston, they might want to get into comics or all sorts of creative fields. What can people do to understand that, okay, you're in a system, here's how you can leverage your personality and turn it into something that is, unique and could go worldwide and connect with people across cultures?
Oh my
That's a great question.
Hard, like
So academic. I was going to say, we might have to go
To university.
We went to the smartest university in the
Well,
country.
we never discussed about that in my university. I took law major, so.
We might have to go get a PhD then come back to answer your question. Yeah.
そういうことがあるけど、個性的にしてそういうのがエネル
Can
ギ
you
ー
repeat the question, please?
Okay.
そういうイメージがある。それで
You
その
mentioned that it's like you're out of the box, but you're still following certain rules. So what are the rules that people can abide by in order to sort of be weird, but in a way that's actually successful and appealing?
All right, I think I understand.
Yeah.
Be weird, do something interesting without being offensive. I think that's the biggest thing. Because if you do something offensive, then you've just blown it because no one's going to deal with you because you offended everybody. But also, let's replace the word weird with interesting. Because that's the word that the Japanese will use. They say omoshiroi, so it's interesting or compelling. So, and also, the definition of the word weird, not exactly every day. So let's replace that with interesting. Be interesting without being offensive, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, in Japan, people change omoshiroi to hen.
But that may be getting offensive, don't like you say someone's hen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you've just limited your potential audience to a small group of people who are into crazy underground nonsense, you know?
Yeah.
I try really hard not to say the word perverted.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's very good. Thank you.
Does Susan have something to contribute? なんか意見としたい。別に。I got a feeling that's a no. 大丈夫？まあ。
そうさっき言ってたそういう自分の人間とかいろんな部分があるんだけどそういうどうやって個性を出しながら、でもそうやっていろんな海外とかファンとかみんなにどうやってつながるか。
I think she's got the PhD reaction the same as us. These are excellent questions you're asking, by the way, my friend. These are very well thought out and academic.
Oh, thank you.
I also can't help admiring how well groomed your beard is. You have such a well groomed beard. It's very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. For the past 5 minutes, I've been looking at it going, yeah, there's not a hair out of place on that beard.
Did it specifically for this interview.
Thank you, sir. I'm very grateful.
Well prepared.
Exactly. I'll break out the Lolita outfit for you.
Good man. This makes it
And going back to the music side of things, who comes up with your choreography and the lyrics for the songs that you do?
So a lot of the time we'll work with songwriters. So Anime-Zing and Nippon Kara Konnichiwa were both made by the exact same songwriting team that did Nippon Manju. So that was my first song that went viral with my first group. So we brought them back in to do those 2 tracks. And then for Octi Squad and Twisted Kaiju Tale, we worked with a songwriter called Indigo. So he worked on those 2 tracks with us. And so we kind of, we'll sit down with them and we'll tell them, all right, so this is our concept for our track that we're thinking. And what do you reckon? You reckon you can make that into a song? And they'll say, yep. And they'll put a song together. And then we'll, make it an actual song by recording it and so forth. And then we'll send the song to our dance choreographer, Lana Sensei. And Lana will tell Lana Sensei, all right, these are the lyrics, this is what we're going for the song, this is the kind of thing we need to see on stage, do your thing. And so she'll go away and she'll make a dance, then like a few weeks later she comes back and she teaches us to dance. And then we have a show.
Is there a lot of time and effort that goes into learning the dance? And because I've seen some of the videos that you've posted on your social media pages of dance practice and getting to learn the choreography while singing and what moves and stuff. How much thought goes into it from your end of, okay, this is what they say, but I think this might work better?
Well, first things first, you got to remember everything. That's your first challenge. You got to remember your lyrics, then you got to remember your choreography. So you got to be able to do both at the same time. So that's walking and talking, yeah. But then, so we all do that as individuals. Then we have to come together and we have to do it together. Here's what happens. Everyone will take the work and personalize it for themselves. You do it without really thinking about it. You just do it because it's something instinctive that you do when you sing or you do when you dance, and they're just instinctive things. Like, she sings like the Mariana Grande kind of thing, you kind of things, right? But then you have the 3 of us got to come together, and we've got to do it together, and make it into a performance by a group, as opposed to 3 individuals doing different things. And that takes a long time and it's very, very hard.
I think you have the hardest part because Susan and I have the same choreography and lyrics, but he has different beats with the death voice and then also different moves. So I think he's got the hardest part.
I appreciate that, thank you very much. I thought you 2 had the harder part, because you guys have to go back and forth on the stage, but I'm in the middle most of the time. It's actually very hard to make a show good with a group. It's, getting it to 60% is sort of fine, most people can do it. Then getting it to 90% is very hard. Then getting it from 90 to 100 is extremely hard, because everyone's got to do the exact same thing at the exact same time to make it really look awesome. And if someone's just slightly off, it'll ruin the whole thing. Something as small as like one of you's doing that and the other one's doing that. Like just a difference that small, when the 3 of you put it together, you can see it. Or someone's just slightly off with their stage positioning. So now it's no longer a triangle, you've broken it and it's like a triangle like that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's actually very hard to make the show really good. So we rehearse as hard as we can, and then hopefully on stage we don't mess things up.
And even it affects our body size.
Yeah.
Like we were trying to fix. Yeah, we were trying to fix why the position was different, and we found out that Suzu's length of shoulder and then my length of shoulder was different, and then so that it, even we're standing in the same position, it looks different. So what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
でも前の子に合わせてたのを合わせるのとか大変。
Of course.
そういうのもある。
Of course.
Like since she was used to doing it with the previous member, like she had to readjust everything, and that was tough too.
Yes, a previous member called Tommy. We learned all the dances and songs with her, but then when you take one person out and then you put a new member in, it's sort of like a Rubik's Cube when you've just moved one of the sides. Now you need to readjust everything to make that fit again, you know? So we had to go through and relearn a whole lot of things, right? Yeah. we are going deep today, my friends. We are going deep. Are you guys coming to the show later, by the way?
Yes.
All right. So you can judge us on how good a job we do or don't do with meeting all these requirements we're currently telling you. Here's another thing as well. You go into the rehearsal room and you get things as good as you possibly can, right? But then you have the problem, you go onto the stage, and the stage is an unpredictable environment. So, like any nonsense could happen, like a fan could throw a can at you in the middle of the show, or something, or, you know, your mic maybe goes out. That's a simple one, like your mic goes out, and you're sitting there trying to fix your mic and get it to work, but you need to keep performing and kind of hide the fact that something's going wrong. So, because now here's a new challenge. You rehearse so hard, you get things into your nervous system and your muscle memory so much, your show looks awesome. Then, there's some occurrence breaks your patterns, and now everyone's patterns are broken. And now somehow we got to look at each other and get back into the pattern and the flow of the song without the whole thing falling on its ass.
I sometimes get too excited and forget the choreography.
That happened to me yesterday. At the opening ceremony. I was too pumped. I forgot what I was meant to do next.
We practice without the audience.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you practice with either a mirror or a wall.
Yeah.
And then we have an audience.
Which is not
Yay! And then what am I doing? Why are the girls over there? Oh yeah. I just sang the first verse. I was meant to sing the second verse. Things like this happen, right?
Well, that's good to know, because I think, a lot of fans get, excited to, meet people, whether they're idols or anybody deciding, they're like super nervous. So it's nice to know that, again, people up on the stage or on the other side of the booth also get kind of nervous and excited and just want to, do the best they can.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, do you have any sort of like mantras or sort of advice about, stage fright? I know bombastic personality, so it seems, like hard to imagine, but like.
Let's ask the girls that actually. That's a good question for the girls. Can you tell Susan?
すずちゃんが踊ってる時にどうやってそういう緊張感とかどうやってそれを乗り越えるかなんかそういうなんかすることは
とにかく練習をして、その練習中に間違えなかったってことはすごい自信になるから、ひたすら練習する。もう練習するし、家でも練習するし、もう練習の回数増やす。
For her, it's like she just practices so often that like builds her self-confidence, and the more she does it, and the more she perfects it, the more she knows like she can do it.
You got anything?
Adrenaline.
I'm sorry?
Adrenaline. Well.
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline.
Oh right, adrenaline.
Yeah, adrenaline. Well, just.
I think you said odori nari. I'm like, becoming dancing? Oh, adrenaline.
Yeah, adrenaline. Well, kiss it. Nervous.
I see. Here's my advice for the stage fright adjacent. I went and I intellectualized the whole thing many years ago. So let me put it like this. Right now, like you guys are an audience that we're performing, yeah? But just watch this, watch this. If I do this, right? Take my chair, I turn it, I'll come over here, right? Here's my chair, I've got the exact same chair as all of you, yeah? All right, here's my chair. Right now I'm still performing, yeah? Cool, all right, watch this. Turn my chair 180 degrees. And now, I'm the audience. See what I'm saying? So therefore, once I kind of intellectualize that, and also, okay, so now what? What's the worst thing that can happen? She says something weird and I go, like that's the worst thing that can happen, just the blank face, and, all right? You know? So,
Do you ever get nervous before the performance?
Yeah, in this generation, more for small audiences as opposed to big audiences.
Well, so you get nervous
For a small
with
audience.
smaller.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, because the face, yeah.
Because with a big audience, it's just a sea of people, and you're giving them a bunch of energy, and they give you energy back, and it flows like this. If it's a small audience, you can see every single face, and you can see every time if you say or do something weird, you see someone go. You know what I'm saying? So it's much more of a, you know, people use the word intimate, but let's just say direct. It's much more of a direct feedback, and yeah, you can feel it more if you do something strange. スーちゃんはまあ一番緊張してるのステージはでかいまあたくさん人の前にか少ない人の前に。偉い人がいる。偉い人. I should say when some important person is in the audience and she knows that that's what gets her nervous. That's actually a good point. Like Sir Richard Branson, who's watching this video right now. That's who I'm concerned about. So Richard, bless you and your family. Let's start an airline. I can't tell if we're doing a good job of answering these questions or not. I feel like we go deep down an academic path and then just murder it at the end. We just throw a can of vomit-colored paint on it. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing an interesting job.
Oh, bless. Thank you very much. I am. Thank you, sir.
This is
Bless you.
anything but bad.
I'm sorry? Anything but bad? Bless you. What a
That's another band name. That'd be
Anything but bad. That's a song we'll make. Anything but bad. That's
Okay.
a good idea.
I'll translate that to Japanese.
What is it in Japanese? Anything but bad. まあ、悪くしか
I wouldn't recommend you to translate that.
悪いもの以外って悪いもの以外
悪いもの以外
No.
No good? No, no.
The nuance が違うよね。
ちょっと違うんだよね
It's hard to direct translate.
どうですか？印象ください。
昨日のまだライブしかやってないけど、なんか盛り上がってって言ったら立って盛り上がってくれたり、温かいかったし、雰囲気が良かったって言って。
So like when they had the live concert at the openings, everyone was like really warm and welcoming, and like when they said for like everyone to get up, everyone got up. So it was a really welcoming feeling.
One last question for each outlet.
Okay, well this is a good one to end on because we're at Anime Boston. Do you guys have any favorite anime or things that you would recommend?
Oh!
スパイファミリーがI love スパイファミリー。
I don't want to go to the last one. I like Kirarin Revolution. Kirarin Revolution. Another one is Haikyuu. Yeah. Oh, and also I played basketball, so Kuroko no Basket. Yeah.
Well, my favorite one is somewhat outdated now, but I really like Bacano, if you know that anime.
Oh, don't call that retro. You're gonna make me feel old. Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I love Bacano. That's a great series. I actually dubbed Bacano because I used to be a voice dubber, so I dubbed Bacano, And that was something. Because normally you'd do your bits and then you'd leave the booth, but no one wanted to leave the booth. We wanted to stay in there and watch the show. It was a great show.
Bakano?
Bakano to you, So I like Bakano and also Agretzko because I'm friends with the producer and I've got a feeling for season 3 he just stole my life story and made it into her life story. So you can watch season 3, there's just dramatic parallels between Agretzko's life and my life.
And I guess our last question is, what do you see for the future of Babybeard? Where would you like to see yourself in 5 years?
World domination, my friend. World domination. From here to there, east to west, up, down, around in a circle, and then back again. The whole thing. The entire thing. This year, I'm not supposed to tell you the exact thing I told everyone yesterday. So I won't do that again today. We're touring a bunch this year. We've got a lot of shows and whatnot happening. So keep your eyes on the social media. I'm not gonna say anything specific. I can say specifically we've got an Australia tour in the middle of the year, but that probably won't affect you. But maybe, hypothetically, in a parallel universe, there might be some things lined up which could be accessible to the citizens of the United States. I'm just saying, because the hardest part is to get a work visa, and as you can see, the fact we're here means that that mission has been
Accomplished.
completed. So, with imaginations firmly embraced, perhaps there'll be more Babybeard stuff for Americans to embrace this year.
You'll get in trouble.
I'm in so much trouble already. Look at that face. Imagine this. Look at that face. I'm already fired.
And knowing we have an international audience that watches our podcast,
Yes.
tell everybody where they can find more information about you.
Dear
Oh, no, sorry.
Dear friends watching the podcast, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for paying attention to Babybeard. We're very, very grateful. You can find us on all the social media, the Twitty, it's called X now, the Xy Smexy, the YouTubers, the Tiki Toki, the Facey McBook, and what's the other one? Instagram. YouTube data. Our ID is
Babybeard_Japan.
Babybeard_Japan, so please go there on all the thingamajigs so you can find us on the internet. And you can find our individual ones as well. Go to our Instagram, and our various individual Instagrams are listed there, and I think that's the same on all of them, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So please do that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for paying attention to Babybeard. She is Suzu, she is Mari, I am Babybeard. We'll do our take it home introduction schnigamajig. Onegaishimasu.
マリです。
すずです。
レイビビアロです。私たちはせーの、ベイビビアロでした。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Bless you, Sir Richard Branson. I love you. I love you, sir. I look forward to a safari at your house. Literally owns a farm in South Africa. That's why I said that. Yeah, Sir Richard Branson. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you guys. Well, that was a strange set of interviews. I apologize for the disaster I have brought upon this room.